and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. And this is going to be a kind of different video, a top 10, but kind of about this channel. Now, I'm certainly not a narcissist, so this isn't going to all be about me. I am simply going to be talking about the 10 things that you simply won't see on this channel. And yeah, so it's not about me, it's about the channel. Okay, so this was actually an idea I've seen from another YouTuber, nothing to do with the film in kind of YouTube community really, just a different one, but I've kind of co-opted it somewhat and made it my own. So there you go. So this is 10 things that you more or less won't see on this channel. So number 1, no crazy characters. I know some YouTubers like to have this thing where they kind of do kind of crazy characters and kind of get up to kind of like antics. I'm nearly 50, I'm too old for that kind of thing. I personally find it a little bit disingenuous unless you're kind of doing like some kind of kids entertainment. It's not for me. You'll not see any kind of crazy characters, you know, on my channel at least. Other people's channels, they want to do it, that's fine, but you won't see it here. Number 2 is going to be the airing of dirty laundry or feuds. So I've been on YouTube for about 11 years at this point, and I have seen a few kind of feuds in the kind of the movie community, both from kind of reviewers, from kind of collectors, all sorts really. And a lot of times, you know, views are aired on videos and things like this, and somewhat personal attacks are made and things like this, and insults are traded, stuff like that. You will not see that on this channel. I have had issues with some other YouTubers who have taken issue for me, but I have never talked about it on this channel outside of some vague references like this, and nor will I in the future. So yeah, so you will not see any type of, you know, that type of thing on this channel. This isn't my profession, but I like to keep this channel somewhat kind of professional and really focus on what I want to focus on, which is kind of things to do with geek culture and the film industry. So number 3, what's the next thing that you will not see on this channel? Paid for reviews or favourable reviews because I get sent promotional copies of screeners. I have been offered money to do reviews and I have refused. They haven't even asked me to do a favourable review, but I have on a couple of occasions been offered money to do a review. I'm happy to do a review, but I will not charge for it because I do not want to feel obligated to give a movie a particular kind of review. So you know, I'm often approached to do reviews for sometimes directors' films themselves, or sometimes it's from publicist companies, sometimes from film companies, all sorts of stuff. And if they ask me, I'm happy to do a review, but I will be honest and fair. It's kind of how I approach my reviews. It's a whole different conversation, but I always like to think I am at least fair and constructive. But I won't be swayed with, like I say, freebies, money. I'll be honest with you, I have seen reviews where a lot of these kind of wild eye discs are kind of given out to people, and these kind of people who will remain nameless tend to give overly favourable reviews because they've had free copies, and it's you're not a reviewer. If you're doing that, you're not reviewing it. You are a promotional pamphlet. So that is not a review in my opinion. So yes, I like to keep my reviews honest, constructive, and you know, give fair feedback. Kind of similar to this, you'll rarely ever see a review here. I'm not saying never with this one, but you'll rarely see a review either a 1 or a 10. This is something that I often see on the likes of IMDb, and for a review to be rated as a 10, it has to be literally perfect. A 10 out of 10 for me means there is no flaws. And that's extraordinarily rare. I mean, I can probably think of less than 10 films that would be like that. I mean, Jaws, for example, is one that I would rate 10 out of 10. But, you know, there's very few. I mean, so And the same thing with one. I mean, one is almost irredeemable. When I look at a film, I am looking at all the components that make the film. It's very easy, I think, when you look at, for example, low-budget indie films to go, oh, the acting's rubbish, the special effects are rubbish. But I'm looking at the whole package. Is it well written? Are the technical elements any good? Is there kind of good story ideas? The pacing, everything like that. So that all kind of contributes to the score. So when I might review a film that I might rank higher, for example, than some others, kind of like, oh, 1 out of 10, it's crap. Because I'm factoring all of these things that will make up my score. A multitude of factors. There's, you know, there's dozens of people that work on these low budget films, hundreds of people that work on kind of other ones. So it's not fair for me to kind of like judge everything on kind of just like a low budget indie film because I thought the acting was bad or the effects were bad or something. So that is why I tend to have a lot more kind of nuance, if I'm honest, about the way I do reviews. So 1 and 10 are rare. I'm not sure I've even rated those scores more than 5 times on the entire channel, if I'm honest. So next one is political bias. Mostly, you'll see not any or very little political bias on this channel. I have a political stance. I'm not going to go into it in this video, but I like to keep my channel somewhat politics free for the most part, and there are movies that will include politics in part of the story, in which case then I have to kind of address it, but I'm going to still be judging the film on its merits, not just its political stance. I've reviewed movies like Bits, which has been very, very left-leaning, and I've reviewed movies that have been very right-leaning, from the likes of kind of Rani Perez and things like that. So, you know, I review a film, I'll kind of mention about the politics if it's involved in the film, but I'll try to not let it affect my opinion of, like, you know, the acting, the storytelling, the kind of the direction, all those kind of things. That will still come from the film itself. I might talk about the politics if it's relevant, but I won't let it affect my reviews. Now, it could be easy for me. I mean, you look at the kind of the right-leaning kind of like anti-woke kind of channels and things like that. It's very easy to kind of, you know, to do a tear this kind of movie down sort of stance. I'll be honest with you, it kind of annoys me because I feel these movies are getting torn down before they're even seen. And I get it, if you've seen a film and you can have legitimate critics on it, you know, then fine. But to me, I won't judge a film because it's presenting a political viewpoint, even though my political stance might actually be at odds with it. I'll still review it as a piece of entertainment and base it on the merits of the film. So I like to try and keep my my coverage politics free, although that's probably to the detriment of the channel, because a lot of these kind of like hate reviews, you know, they get a lot of clicks, but I don't want to do it. And I also won't give a review, the next point, number 6, to keep kind of in line with the kind of the trending kind of feeling of the film. So if most people will like the film and I watch it and I, you know, don't really like it, I will say, I won't just kind of like say I like a film because it's kind of expected with the kind of the badges, it's got good reviews from something else. And the same thing with if the feeling of a film is particularly negative, but I like it, I will try and state why. I'll give an example. So Ghostbusters Afterlife was a movie that came out and it got the majority of, certainly YouTube critics, pretty positive reviews. I didn't really like it. And I was honest and kind of said that in my review. In fact, I even went on the live stream to try and argue my points, because for the most part, everyone kind of really enjoyed that movie, but I didn't really rate it particularly highly. So another thing you won't see me do is use the same criteria where I'm judging a blockbuster versus a low budget indie. So, you know, I do a 1 to 10 rating system, and I might rate a blockbuster a 6 out of 10. I might rate a small indie film a 6 out of 10. That's not to say these films are comparable. I'm looking at the budget that that exists within these kind of films, what they can achieve within the budget and the scope that these films it is possible to achieve. So I do use different criteria to kind of what I'm thinking about, you know, having to review a low budget indie film compared to reviewing a, you know, a mainstream kind of blockbuster. I'm kind of not judging them the same way. So you won't kind of see that kind of consistency, because I have to look at these films in the context of the kind of the type of film that they are. But within that, I obviously will give you the review kind of based on that sort of metric, you know, how does it compare to its peers ultimately. Number 8, I won't reply to every comment. That's why I might sound a little controversial. I've got nearly 5,000 videos on the channel, and every day there is dozens of comments. Obviously with 5,000 videos, you know, they get commented on, older ones as well. It's not just the new ones. And this isn't my profession. I don't do this as a job. This is a hobby that I do. I work full time and I do quite a lot of hours in my job. I also have social life and, you know, and things like that. So I don't always get kind of like loads of time. And obviously when I do get spare time, I spend my time creating content. Now I do try and reply to the majority of messages if I can. Certainly ones that will ask me, you know, particular kind of relevant points. Some I won't generally reply to ones that are trailers, because that's not really my content. I'm putting it on behalf of a company, and sometimes some comments are more of just a statement and don't really require a response from me. And then sometimes again, it's like sometimes review comments are of a film I've watched 5 years ago, and it's like, oh, what was the twist about? And I was like, oh God, I don't know. You know, I don't even remember what I had for lunch yesterday. So there's that, and then sometimes it's just a matter of time. I don't always get time to kind of go and sit through, and sometimes the comments get kind of pushed down to the back, and then like replies, if that makes sense. Again, I don't always see them, so I apologise if I don't. I have had people kind of saying, oh, you never replied to my comment, and I apologise. I do try and, you know, reply on the comments that I can, but it's not always possible for me to do so. So I would say I won't reply to every comment. I'll reply to as many as I possibly can, but I can't reply to them all. What else won't you see? So number 9, you won't see highly polished videos. This is clearly not an edited video, and I haven't edited out all the ers and me looking down at my bit of paper. You know, again, it's the same thing. I like to put out regular videos. There's so many films out there. I could do, you know, more polished, edited with better visuals and things like that, but I would put out significantly less content. And where there is so many kind of films and films I want to cover, I simply wouldn't be able to cover it. You know, not even half as much that I currently cover. So when I'm kind of doing my videos, I'm obviously trying to give you some visuals, some clips, some images, things like that, maybe a few gags and things and stuff. But currently, where this is just a hobby, this is kind of like that's my level. And also, I'll be honest with you, I'm not all that technically adept with the kind of the computer stuff. I've kind of self-taught myself to use the editing software and to do these kind of a lot of this kind of like very flashy kind of visuals. You know, I simply don't know what I'm doing in regards to that. So that's the other reason why you might not see as polished videos. But the majority of the reason, honestly, is kind of time. I don't have the time to kind of sit there, and I've got an older computer, so it kind of takes a little bit of time to render and everything. So, you know, I don't do super highly polished videos. They're kind of a little bit rough and ready, but that's the way I roll. And then the other thing that you won't see is hyperbole or unconstructive criticism, for the most part. I mean, maybe once in a while I might have a wee jab, but when I'm reviewing a film, and I've kind of touched upon it, I like to give you the reasons why I think certain reasons. If I don't like a film, I'm not just going to say, oh, it's rubbish, it's crap, I don't really like going on rants. I will tell you why. I will try and explain my position. I will try and tell you the context about why I feel it. One of the frustrations for me when I'm watching other reviews is people who do not give context, who do not give constructive critiques about what they are seeing. If I do not like something, if I don't think it's particularly very good, I will kind of try and enunciate why I think that is. You know, why do I think you know, the acting wasn't good? Do I feel like it's kind of like they haven't given enough direction, or are they not experienced, or something like that? I'll try and give a little bit more kind of context as to why I'm sort of saying things, but it also works in the positive as well. I won't just, oh yeah, this film's great, go check it out, it's amazing, I loved it. Why do I love it? Why do I hate it? I will try and give you more context, so you won't just see these kind of like, you know, high energy, kind of hyperbole, kind of just saying lots of kind of, it's amazing, oh, best thing ever, or kind of like, oh, rant, it's crap. I will not do that for the most part unless a film really is the bottom of the barrel, and then I might have a wee chuckle or that kind of thing. So that's it. That is a video of the top 10 things you will not see on this channel. For the most part, once in a while maybe something in there will slip in, but that is the 10 things I will try and do or not do on this channel. What do you think? Any feedback from that? I'd be interested to know. Do let me know, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.